When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thought you give power to? Do you rise and think, another hard day ahead? Or do you declare, today, everything is working out for my good? This is the shift. It is not in your bank account. It is not in other people. It is in the seed of your belief. You see, the universe is not moved by desperation. It is moved by faith and expectation. Desperation says, I need it now or I will be lost. Faith says, I already have it in spirit, and it is making its way to me now. When you live in the vibration of already having, you send out a signal that attracts more of the same. Lack attracts lack. Gratitude attracts abundance. Fear attracts fear. But love and certainty, they pull in miracles. If you want your blessings to multiply, you must stop treating them as rare. You must speak as if they are as common as the air you breathe. Because they are. The problem is not that blessings are scarce. It's that most people block them with doubt, worry, and the habit of expecting less. The mind is like a magnet, and it is always switched on. Whatever you hold in it consistently becomes your reality. If you believe your opportunities are few, you will only notice the closed doors. But if you believe your opportunities are overflowing, your eyes will suddenly see what was always there. This is the mystery most people miss. Your blessings do not start appearing after your mindset changes. They were there all along. The shift simply makes you able to receive them. Think about a radio. Every station is broadcasting right now, but you only hear the one you're tuned into. Abundance, joy, peace, love, financial overflow, they're all broadcasting in the frequency of faith and gratitude. The question is, are you tuned in? Because if you're on the frequency of fear and complaining, you will only hear more reasons to be afraid and more reasons to complain. This is why so many people live the same year over and over again. They never change the channel. So, I invite you to ask yourself, what have you been speaking into your life? What have you been imagining in the quiet moments? Have you been rehearsing worst-case scenarios in your mind? Or have you been envisioning the best outcome possible? Because what you see inwardly is planting seeds for what you will hold outwardly. Blessings multiply when you water the seeds with the right words. Speak life into your finances, even when the numbers don't add up. Speak healing over your body, even when the pain is still there. Speak peace over your relationships, even when conflict surrounds you. Every time you declare what you desire with unshakable faith, you send a spiritual instruction that begins rearranging the unseen in your favor. But here is the truth most people ignore: you cannot speak abundance while secretly expecting loss. You cannot declare love while quietly fearing betrayal. Your outer words must match your inner knowing, and your inner knowing must stand firm, even when the evidence around you tries to convince you otherwise. The simple shift I'm talking about is this: stop living from the place of, I'll believe it when I see it, and start living from, I'll see it because I believe it. This is not blind hope. This is divine alignment. When you think, feel, and speak as if it is already done, you unlock the flow. The blessings that once seemed slow suddenly accelerate. The help you thought would never come arrives in unexpected ways. Sometimes, the biggest block to your blessings is not outside resistance, it's inner resistance. The doubts you entertain, the old stories you repeat to yourself, the limits you inherited from others and never questioned. You may have been told that life is hard, or people like us never get ahead, and without realizing it, you accepted these statements as law. But they were never law, they were only opinions, dressed in authority. You have the power to rewrite the script, and it doesn't require you to fight against the old, it simply requires you to stop feeding it. Start pouring your energy into a new picture, a new possibility. Every time your mind tries to replay an image of loss, replace it with an image of victory. Every time you're tempted to say, it's just not working out, replace it with, everything is working out perfectly for me. Blessings respond to expectancy. If you go to a garden expecting weeds, you will overlook the roses. If you go expecting roses, you will find beauty even in the midst of weeds. The same is true in your life. The shift is not about forcing blessings to appear, it is about noticing and nurturing what is already growing in your favor. The truth is, you are already surrounded by more good than you realize. But until you train your mind to see it, you will keep living as if it's not there. And here's the beautiful part. Once you start noticing blessings, they multiply. Why? Because your attention is the sunlight that makes them grow. There is a secret: many miss blessings multiply in motion. When you take a step in faith, even before the path is clear, the ground begins to form under your feet. So many wait for the perfect sign before they act, not realizing that the sign they are waiting for will only appear after they act. It is like a door that opens inward. You cannot pull it toward you by standing still. You must push it from where you are, and as you do, it swings open to reveal what was hidden. Every great testimony begins with someone who dared to act as if the answer was already theirs. You may say, but I've tried before and failed. My friend, failure is not the opposite of blessing. It is the soil in which blessings grow. Every delay, every disappointment has been preparing you, not punishing you. What you thought was a no was often a not yet. The shift is learning to see waiting not as wasted time but as divine timing at work. Blessings are like the tide, they come in waves. Sometimes, you will stand in moments where the shore looks bare, but that does not mean the ocean has dried up. It only means the next wave is gathering strength, ready to bring you more than you expected. When you stop staring at the empty sand and start preparing for the water, you align yourself with the rhythm of abundance. This is why gratitude is so powerful. It pulls future blessings into the present moment. When you thank life for what you already have, you are telling the universe, I am ready for more. And the universe, always generous, responds in kind. But gratitude must be more than words. It must be a posture of the heart. You cannot fake it, because the spiritual laws respond to your inner vibration, not just your outer declarations. So let me ask you, how would you walk through today if you knew that everything you need is already yours? Would you still speak words of lack? Would you still allow fear to write your story? Or would you rise with confidence, knowing that your name is already on blessings that are making their way to you right now? Imagine yourself stepping into that mindset fully. You wake up and instead of asking, what will go wrong today? Today favor finds me everywhere I go. You open your wallet and instead of saying, it's not enough, you say, money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. You see an obstacle and instead of saying, why me, you say, this is the stepping stone to my next breakthrough. The simple shift is not complicated, it's a choice. A choice to replace fear with faith. A choice to replace complaint with gratitude. A choice to replace chasing with attracting. And every time you choose faith over fear, you cast a vote for abundance. Every time you choose gratitude over complaint, you multiply what is good. Every time you choose to expect the best, you open the door for blessings to flood in. Blessings cannot be hoarded, they expand when shared. When you give encouragement to someone else, you create a current that circles back to you. When you sow kindness without expectation, you plant seeds that will bloom in your future. When you release what is no longer serving you, you make room for what is meant to come. You cannot receive with clenched fists. You must release to receive. And this release is not only about money or material things, it is about releasing grudges, fears, and old identities. Sometimes the greatest block to your blessings is the old version of yourself you keep dragging into the present. The moment you let that version go, the new you can step into the blessings that have been waiting all along. And here's the beauty, the shift is instant. You do not need months or years to step into it. You can decide right now, this very moment, that your words, your thoughts, and your expectations will align with abundance. And the moment you decide, the atmosphere around you begins to rearrange itself in response. Doors you didn't even knock on will begin to open. People you didn't expect will show up to help you. Opportunities you thought were lost will circle back to find you. Because blessings have a way of recognizing a ready heart. When your heart is ready, life begins to speak to you in whispers you can finally hear. The right ideas seem to come out of nowhere. A conversation with a stranger plants the exact seed you needed. A small decision leads you to a door you didn't even know existed. That is the language of blessings. They rarely shout, but they always guide. The challenge is that most people are so focused on what they don't have that they miss the small openings leading to more. The shift I'm talking about requires you to reverse that habit. Instead of rehearsing lack, rehearse abundance. Instead of magnifying what went wrong, magnify what is working. You will be amazed at how quickly your inner world begins to transform, and with it your outer reality. See, blessings don't multiply because you suddenly become worthy. You have always been worthy. They multiply because you finally step into the place where worthiness becomes your truth, not your question. It's when you stop asking, am I deserving, and start declaring, I am chosen for good things, that you unlock the flow. And here's the secret, this shift is contagious. When you walk into a room expecting good, others feel it. Your presence becomes a blessing in itself. You start lighting the path for those still walking in the fog of fear. People will ask, how do you stay so hopeful? They won't realize that hope is not something you wait for, it's something you decide on, every morning. Your words are the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Every blessing you've ever received began as an idea, a thought, a silent prayer. Some of those prayers took time to unfold because you weren't ready to cross the bridge yet. But when you align your language with what you desire, without wavering, you shorten the distance. You meet your blessing halfway. So speak to your life as if it is listening, because it is. Speak to your health as if every cell hears you. Speak to your finances as if money responds to your voice. Speak to your dreams as if they are alive, because in the spiritual realm, they already are. And as you keep doing this, you'll notice something subtle but powerful. Life starts to feel lighter. The heaviness you used to carry begins to fade. The things you once chased begin to find you. You'll stand in moments where you catch yourself smiling, realizing you're living in days you once prayed for. And in that moment, you'll know the shift worked. Because blessings don't just arrive, they multiply. When you truly embrace this way of living, you stop measuring your life by what's missing and start counting it by what's unfolding. You stop waking up with a heart full of dread, and instead, you wake with a heart full of readiness. You realize that every sunrise carries its own gifts even if they arrive wrapped in challenges. The mind that has shifted understands that even what looks like a setback is often a setup. You no longer waste time asking, "Why me?" You start asking, "What is this leading me toward?" That question alone will pull you into a place where blessings reveal themselves in ways that would have once gone unnoticed. Blessings are not always delivered in the packages we expect. Sometimes they arrive disguised as endings, only to reveal themselves as beginnings. Sometimes they come through people you barely know, carrying exactly what your soul needed. Sometimes they come as a quiet moment in the middle of chaos, when you suddenly feel peace that cannot be explained. And the more you honor these moments, the more they come. Because blessings, like anything in life, go where they are celebrated. If you treat them as ordinary, they pass you by. But when you pause, give thanks, and speak life over them, they grow and multiply. That's why you must train yourself to live in the awareness of good things happening. Not someday, but now. Right now, as you listen to these words, there is something working in your favor. You may not see it yet, but it's moving. You may not feel it yet, but it's building. And if you can hold the faith for just a little longer, it will break through into your reality. Remember, this shift is not just about believing when it's easy. It's about holding the vision when it's hardest. Anyone can be grateful on the mountain. But the ones who multiply their blessings are the ones who sing in the valley, who keep their eyes lifted when the sky is dark, who keep their words aligned with abundance even when the evidence is still invisible. Every time you refuse to let fear speak louder than faith, you win. Every time you choose to bless your present instead of cursing it, you open the door to a greater future. Every time you decide that today is still a good day, no matter what, you send out a signal that draws more good to you. And when you live this way long enough, you won't just experience blessings. You will become a blessing. Your energy will carry a frequency that changes the atmosphere around you. People will leave your presence feeling lighter, stronger, more hopeful, without even knowing why. Because the shift you make inside yourself is never just for you, it ripples outward, and the more you pour into others, the more life pours back into you. You start to notice that the world reacts differently to you. Doors open before you even knock. Opportunities show up in your path without you chasing them. The people you meet seem divinely timed, as though the script of your life has been rewritten for your good. And that is exactly what has happened. You shifted the script. The truth is, life was never withholding from you. It was only mirroring what you believed you deserved. Once you believe, deeply unshakably, that you are worthy of abundance, joy, and love, life has no choice but to reflect it. It's a law as sure as the rising of the sun. Think of it like planting a garden. If you plant seeds of gratitude, you will reap a harvest of more things to be grateful for. If you plant seeds of generosity, you will reap a harvest of unexpected provision. If you plant seeds of faith, you will see miracles sprouting in places you never thought possible. But if you plant seeds of fear and complaint, you will see only weeds of frustration. The shift is in your planting. It is in what you choose to sow every day through your words, your thoughts, and your actions. Even in silence, you are sowing, because your inner dialogue is shaping the soil of your life. This is why you cannot afford to speak carelessly about your future. You cannot afford to rehearse old wounds or replay scenes of loss as if they are the final chapter. What you speak and what you dwell on is what multiplies. If you keep rehearsing pain, pain grows. But if you rehearse hope, hope expands. And here's something beautiful. You don't need to wait for the perfect feeling to start shifting. You can choose to speak words of abundance even when your emotions are still catching up. Your words will begin to lead your feelings, and your feelings will follow. Eventually, your entire being will align with the vibration of blessing. And when that alignment happens, life begins to feel like a divine partnership. You take a step and heaven meets you halfway. You speak a word and doors begin to swing. You extend kindness, and kindness circles back to you multiplied. Every single day, the choices before you remain in the old frequency of doubt and delay, or step into the frequency where blessings are drawn to you without struggle. The choice is always yours, and the moment you choose the higher path, life rearranges itself to match your decision. When you understand this truth, you stop waiting for the right circumstances and start creating them from the inside out. You no longer live at the mercy of chance. You live in the certainty of divine law. You realize that you are not here to scrape by, barely making it through life. You are here to flourish, to overflow, to be a living testimony of what happens when faith becomes the foundation of every step you take. And so the question becomes, what will you do with this moment? Will you go back to speaking as if life is against you? Or will you choose, from this day forward, to declare that life is working for you in ways seen and unseen? Will you let fear continue to narrate your story, or will you allow faith to hold the pen? The simple shift is not complicated, but it is powerful. It is the choice to see blessings where others see burdens. It is the decision to speak as if your prayers are already answered. It is the courage to believe that you are favored, chosen, and destined for good things, no matter what the past has looked like. Because the moment you make that shift, blessings no longer trickle in, they multiply. They meet you in unexpected places. They flow through you to others. And they remind you again and again that life was never about surviving. It was always about living in the overflow. So, step into that truth. Align your words, your thoughts, and your vision with the abundance that is already yours. Walk forward in gratitude. Expect good, and watch as your blessings multiply beyond anything you could have imagined.